Late one afternoon in 1999 in New Orleans, I found myself handing out $20 bills to some ace local horn players who were adding parts to an album called Mardi Gras Mambo by the Cuban all-star group Cubanismo. To Jesus Alemany, the group's leader, their playing was never quite right, and he kept demanding retake after retake. The group would roll their eyes, check their watches, mutter about having to get home to change before a gig that night, and I would bribe them to stick with it for another 15 minutes. The problem was that they laid back on the beat with a sensual, big, easy cool. Cubans, on the other hand, generate their sexy grooves by sticking to the task with rigor, the rhythm section meshing together with the precision of a Swiss watch. When we finally got a take that made Jesus, if not entirely happy, at least ready to move on, I took a moment to ponder what I had just witnessed. The album was conceived as a celebration of links between the musical cultures of New Orleans and Havana. Both were born in Africa, then shaped by colonial slavery, and had borrowed freely from each other over the centuries. How did their rhythmic sensibilities come to be so different? I parked that question in the back of my mind. One day, I thought, I'd look for the answer. Having grown up on the North American side of that divide, I'd immersed my youthful self in the holy trinity of blues, jazz, and rock and roll. Then added British folk to the mix when I moved to London and embarked on my career as a producer. I always loved the stories behind the music. Elvis shyly asking the Sun Records receptionist how much it would cost to record a demo for his mother's birthday. Louis Armstrong inventing scat singing when he forgot the lyrics. James Brown lurking in the crowd at a Georgia roadhouse, watching Little Richard's every move. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards meeting by chance on a Dartford railway platform. As a producer, I never felt limited by genre or style. So when opportunities arose to work with South African, Indian, and Jamaican musicians in the 1960s and 70s, I took them eagerly. The circle widened when I started my Hannibal label in the 80s. Bulgaria, Mali, Hungary, Cuba, and Brazil. After 40 years in the business, I took a step back and wrote a memoir about music making in the 60s. I was often asked if the next one would be about the 70s. No, I thought. I'd rather write about the puzzle of that hard afternoon in the Big Easy instead. The answers I found involved both Dizzy Gillespie and a 1552 Islamophobic edict by the King of Spain, which seemed like a pretty good start, so I decided to keep going. Along the way, I discovered, among many other things, why the Soviets hated Bulgarian women's choirs, that Afrobeat began with a subscription to an American jazz magazine, why so many artists, from Caetano Veloso and Gilberto Gil to Ivo Popazov and Fela Kuti, ended up in prison because of their music, how Frank Sinatra owed his career to a French tango singer from Buenos Aires, and why Charles Dickens wrote an angry polemic against a Zulu choir that visited London in 1853. This is not an academic book. It travels back in history and across the globe, from Africa to the Caribbean and Latin America, and through Europe to South Asia and back, following the circular flows of musical influence and the interconnectedness of cultures. Rhythms get traced back to their roots, then forward to show how they shape so much of the music we all know so well. This journey brings to life the little-known backstories and the personalities at the heart of the process. Characters as colorful and unforgettable as the stars of Western popular music.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.